All right, thanks to everybody for being here tonight. We have a pretty full agenda, so I'm going to get us kicked off. I'm going to shake up the agenda just a little bit so that we can have our guests go first, so that they can jump off. I know it makes for a long night. So first, I'm going to have Dr. Youngquist from the University of Utah, if you wouldn't mind going first. Do you have a presentation tonight, or are you just speaking?
No, I'll just speak and I'll be brief.
Perfect. And then after that, we'll have Noah from the Salt Lake City Library. Go.
All right, ready? Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. My name is Dr. Scott Youngquist. I'm a professor of emergency medicine at the University of Utah. I'm also the medical director for the Salt Lake City Fire Department. I believe you have Station 6 in your district there. I'm here to tell you about a study that we're starting. It's a pre-hospital study that the firefighters will be enrolling patients in our area in. It's a multi-center study occurring throughout the country, but we are one of the sites. And it's called, excuse me, the Pre-Hospital Analgesia Intervention Trial, the PAIN trial. This is a Department of Defense funded study looking at a comparison of fentanyl, which is a synthetic opioid pain medication, versus low-dose ketamine for patients who are injured and in mild shock in the pre-hospital setting, meaning 911 is called, the paramedics show up at a car accident or something like that, and patients will be enrolled and randomized to one of those two medications to treat their pain. Currently, patients are treated mostly with fentanyl, this opioid, for their pain, but there's good reason researchers think there may be a benefit to low-dose ketamine in terms of improving survival from trauma. So we'll be looking carefully at the side effects associated with both medications. The paramedics won't know which one that they are administering. And because informed consent can't be obtained during this painful emergency, we'll be consenting patients afterwards for the use of their data. But this is an FDA exemption from informed consent study because it's performed under emergency conditions. So part of that is letting the population that may be enrolled in the trial. Hopefully, none of you are injured or anyone you know, but there's a chance that if worse comes to worse, someone is injured, you may be enrolled in this trial. So our role here is just to get feedback from the community, and Judy Carl, who's our research manager for this study, has put a link to a survey that you can fill out in the chat section of Zoom. So we'll be looking at side effects from these medications, which one seems to work best, and hopefully it will add to the benefit of future trauma patients for us to figure out which drug works best. So that's it from me. Just wanted to make you aware of that, and feel free to give feedback using that form, that survey form. I know you guys have a busy schedule, so I won't take more of your time. I'll also note in the end, if you look into the study and you decide I don't want to be enrolled in this, there is an opt-out way of opting out and getting a bracelet that can be identified on scene, and the paramedics can say, okay, this is a person who is aware of the study and they don't want to be enrolled in it, and we'll just give them whatever pain medication we think is best at the time. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, doesn't look like it. We'll make sure that we put the link in our next newsletter so folks can sign up.
Sorry, this is Emily from Salt Lake County Health Department, and I work directly on opioid funding. So is this something that will be delivered in an emergency situation, or is it just a study, a research study?
It is the medication will be administered during an emergency scenario. So this will be pre-hospital, meaning the paramedics will be delivering the intervention, and it'll be for treatment of the scenario where somebody is acutely injured and has some mild shock from their trauma. So in those particular patients, we don't know which drug would work best in terms of side effect profile, in terms of respiratory status and stuff like that. We'll also be tracking patients. We'll be contacting patients later to see what their experience is with, are they still having to take chronic opioids, or has the fact that we gave them ketamine, did that result in a reduction of the risk of taking chronic opioids, things like that. So
And so if
Hope that
your
answers your question.
paramedics are delivering ketamine on scene, are they following them closely as well? If they refuse transfer to the hospital, or if they're involved in the study, do they automatically get transferred for observation?
Yes, it's only patients that will be destined to go as a trauma patient to the University of Utah.
Okay, sorry, yeah, you said acute, so I'm like, sometimes people refuse an acute transfer on scene. So I was just curious if that was involved in this. So
No, good question. That's part of our criteria is they have to be going to the University of Utah as a trauma patient.
and so can anyone involved in your insurance enrollment plan across the valley, can they be enrolled in this potentially? And how will your paramedics know? Like, will it be in their system if they get their name and information coming on an emergency situation?
So the study is funded by the Department of Defense. So the medications will all be at the cost of the study.
Awesome.
So they
Wow.
won't be billing your insurance for that. So it doesn't matter what insurance you have, as long as you're destined to go to the University of Utah as a trauma patient, and nobody can predict when that's going to happen. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's to any of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you and good work.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks. Any other questions before I go?
Doesn't look like it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Yep. And if you've got a flyer or something that we can put out on social media for folks, would you please send that to me?
Yes, we'll have Judy send that to you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
right.
sorry. Where would you like me to send that?
Just the email that you've been corresponding with
Oh,
me at.
okay. Yes, I can definitely do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to Noah from the City Library.
Great, thanks, Turner. And yeah, great to meet you all. Good evening. My name is Noah Baskett. I am the new executive director of the Salt Lake City Public Library as of January. So reached out to Turner in these early months, just wanted to connect with all of our community councils throughout the city to introduce myself firstly and foremostly, and also just to share a little bit about some updates related to your city library. So I was going to try to share my screen. Turner, is that okay?
Yes, and I'll make you a co-host so that there shouldn't be any issues.
Okay. Are you able to see my slide deck now?
Yes.
All right, good. Well, I'll blast through this quickly because I know your time is valuable. So just maybe a little bit about me. So I grew up in Salt Lake City, partially in Sugar House, and then my folks moved out to the Holiday area, moved up to the Pacific Northwest to go to college 22 years ago. So I've been away for a long time. And most of my work has been involved in nonprofit organizations that serve as an intermediary in cities throughout the world. So the network is called Leadership Foundations that essentially work to try to meet unmet needs in cities, both in the United States and in different countries, through collaboration, right? Connecting nonprofits, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, and government institutions to try to address unmet needs in their cities. So I had a chance to serve a lot of different cities as diverse as Dallas, Texas, and Delhi, India. And when this opportunity came to serve in that connecting role, which is a key part of what the library does in my hometown, I was really excited for the opportunity to come serve here in Salt Lake. So that's a little bit about me. I'll talk with you all a little bit about some recent survey results we did this last fall that share a little bit about the perception of the Salt Lake City Public Library by city residents as a whole. I've got an update that you all might be interested in, particularly on a roof project here at the main library downtown that's been ongoing for quite some time. And then just a little bit about where we're headed. And then also, if you all have any questions for me, would be happy to answer any. So we administered 2 surveys actually this last November before I joined the library that I think are really telling in terms of how the city as a whole perceives and regards the city library as an institution. So you can see in that first statistic, we actually polled all Salt Lake residents or it was a, this is a cross section that's representative, but not just patrons. And 91% of those residents regard the city library as a trusted institution. As you all can imagine, these days, trust in any institution is at an all-time low. And so it speaks volumes of how the city library kind of libraries as a whole stand out as trusted institutions amidst a whole lot of distrust that exists in our world and our society today. We also did some polling specifically on patrons. So this was, these are Salt Lake residents that we have their contact information by virtue of being a library card holder and being a patron of the city library. We did some particular outreach to them. Of those that we surveyed, 94% of our library patrons described their experience as positive of the city library. So again, I think we're pretty excited and happy about those numbers. I'm happy. There's a lot more insight that we got on those that I think are shaping as we think about how we do things better and serve the city better moving forward. But on a whole, I think really encouraged, and I hope you all are too, that both our patrons and the city as a whole really have positive overall experience of the library. And then that last statistic on the bottom, 74% of our Salt Lake City residents have a library card. The little research that I've done with metropolitan library systems of this about the same size as the Salt Lake City library system, they hover in the 60s, the mid 60s. So again, I think that's really encouraging that we have such high usage of the library amongst our residents as a whole. All right. This is one you maybe saw if you are paying attention to the news. There was actually a report that was, it wasn't published by the Deseret News, but it was in an article that referenced that the city library, by virtue of measurements of social media, Wikipedia views, and I want to say there was one other statistic, it actually ranked the city library's downtown main branch as the 15th most popular library in the world. It's pretty remarkable. That puts us in the same company as the Vatican and the Library of Congress. So quite esteemed company that your city library is amidst. Okay, a little bit of a shift to talk about one big project that's been ongoing. Some of you all know our main library branch is now about 20 years old. What I am told, I remember coming home from college when it was being built, but what I am told is that on day one of when this library opened, there were issues with the roof leaking. So beautiful building, what a great gem for our city, and yet there has been an issue with this roof for a really, really long time. And so we decided this last year that we really, things had gotten increasingly worse winter over winter, that we really did need to tear up the entire roof. So you can see here, there were a couple of goals as if we were going to be tearing up this roof, what we wanted to do to really make it airtight, waterproof for the future. We knew this was going to be an expensive project, and so to really future-proof it for preventing any water infiltration in the future. It also, though, gave us the opportunity to do some enhanced landscaping. And as you can see, that third point, to really give a lot of different ways that people could use the space. So we did some community outreach, and that was one of the pieces of feedback. There were some great ways that people were using the roof already. It's probably one of the best publicly accessible views in downtown that's free. And we did things like rooftop yoga and a whole lot of other things, but we heard from residents that in addition to kind of those program things, people also just wanted the opportunity to utilize the roof for the view and to reflect and to relax. And so I'll just show you a couple of the renderings of what it will look like. So we're set to open up in the fall of 2024, so this coming fall. We're working on a final date, but you can see this is right when you walk out from the 5th floor. You can see there's some really beautiful places to sit and to relax. If you can look towards the back, we're going to be bringing our bees back to the roof of the main library, so you can come and check out the bees with our beekeeper, and then really enjoy some of these remarkable views of the city in the Wasatch Range. This is at the upper deck, and with the enhanced landscaping, it's just going to be a really beautiful place to hang out. Okay, and then lastly, just a little bit of kind of where we're going. I'm, like I said, I'm only 3 months in. I've really loved my first 3 months here at the library here in Salt Lake City. You all just enjoy a really remarkable system, and in talking with a lot of other library leaders throughout the country, the Salt Lake City library system is really held in very high esteem. But we are moving forward on a couple big projects that I just wanted to let you all know about. The library engaged in some long-term facility planning about, I want to say it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And our plan is to move forward with phase 1 of that facility plan this next year. It's really about, you can see those 3 words: realigning, reintegrating, and reimagining. So realigning really our spaces to be able to meet the needs that local libraries are being asked to meet in the 21st century. Public libraries serve a lot of different purposes than they have historically. The books, our collection still matters, but libraries are doing a lot of other things and meeting a lot of other community needs. Reintegrating, so you all usually meet at the Glendale branch, I'm assuming. Yes? Yeah, you all know that that's a really great example of a branch that is deeply integrated into the heartbeat of the neighborhood. And that's the goal with all of our spaces, is to make sure that we're deeply integrated into the neighborhoods we serve. And then really reimagining what are the different ways that our public libraries could be serving our city and our neighborhoods moving forward. Secondly, we are going to be launching a library foundation. The city library has been around for 125 years, and we do not currently have a foundation that supports and leverages the investment of taxpayers through property taxes, through local philanthropy. So that is something I've talked with the board about, and they're really excited, is a launch of a library foundation later in 2024. And again, the idea there is to just further and increase the impact of the public library through the important and generous support of our taxpayers by engaging local philanthropy. And then, yeah, a little bit of kind of where we're headed. And I, again, am early days in my leadership with the library, but I do see a great deal of opportunity for how we can just deepen our impact and presence in the city and in the neighborhoods we serve. A couple things that I'm excited about, really deepening our community relationships and partnerships. We have a lot of great partnerships that make the library what it is. That's going to be a lot of my work this next year, is furthering that commitment to community relationships and partnerships as being really key to what the library is and does. Creating new opportunities for Salt Lakers to connect and engage with one another. This last week, we held an Eid celebration at our Day Riverside branch, just down the street from you all, that celebrated the end of Ramadan, Eid, and it was a really great example. We had 400 residents, both Muslim residents and non-Muslim residents, that came together to learn a little bit more about Eid and celebrate culture. And it was a really wonderful event, an example of what it looks like to connect, how the library serves as a way for people to connect, particularly across difference through our city. And I'm really excited about exploring different ways that we can do that moving forward. We're going to be listening a lot to the different neighborhoods we serve, so that in about a year from now, we'll be launching a new strategic planning process that is going to be a lot of community listening, listening to you all in Glendale and all the different neighborhoods throughout the city, to hear what you all think in terms of what the future of the city library system holds, so that we can begin to plan for that future. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. That's me, but here's my contact information. I'm assuming you all have connected with Brooke Young, who's just a remarkable leader and manager of our Glendale branch, and she's always available to you all, but I also want to make myself available to you. So There's my contact information. If you ever want to have me back to talk about any particular library issue, I'm happy to do that, and feel free to reach out. But that is all I have, Turner.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead. Abdirzak, go ahead. Your phone is breaking up really badly, so we can't hear you.
Oh, rats.
If it doesn't get fixed, I can connect you by email.
That sounds great.
Okay. We can't hear you, Abdirzak.
Might helps if he cuts his video feed.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Abdirzak, I'm going to turn off your camera and see if that helps. You want to try now? Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll connect you by email unless his camera and mic starts working.
That sounds great.
All right. Next, I'm going to move on to Councilmember.puy. He's got multiple meetings tonight, so we'll let him go next. And then after that, we'll get on the regular agenda.
Tuner,
Yes.
can you hear me, guys? I don't know what happened to my phone, but I just want to use again another phone. I want to say to brother who's in charge of the library, So the question I have is, normally, Sundays, they're not open. Sometimes, one of my communities, they call me, they want to use on Sundays if they don't have space. So I don't know if there's a way we can have access on Sundays,
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Abdirzak. I actually had a conversation with Brooke Young, the manager of Glendale, yesterday, and she mentioned the fact that there is community interest in Sundays. So I can be honest with you and say right now we do not have a plan for opening the Glendale branch on Sundays, but the strategic plan that I mentioned, where we're really going to be seeking your feedback, that's a great example of the kind of feedback we want to hear so we can plan for the future. So thank you for that.
Yeah. No, last time I remember when we had a conference, one of our congresswomen from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, she came on last Sunday, but she helping us to open, which was nice. But another community, which I work with them, they call me, they say we really need on Sunday. But I told them, let's find out from Brooke or somebody else. And then they told them, they don't have access to open on Sundays, but we have another facility which we use normally on Sunday and weekend normally, UMB, University of Utah Neighborhood Partnership Center.
Yeah, thanks for that very helpful feedback, Abdirzak, and definitely feedback we'll take into consideration for the future.
Yeah, sure. The community is growing, basically,
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you all.
Thanks. We're going to move on to Councilmember.puy.
I'm muted. Hello, everyone. I cannot see that many faces, but I'm hoping that many of you are there, that I'm not talking to just two people, and that's totally fine. Hello. See, it's nice to see some cameras come online. Hello. No a huge amount of updates. I mean, there's a lot happening in the city. We have, as you've probably seen, quite a bit of bills that came this way this year to us. Baseball, hockey, and yesterday we got an update on the hockey bill. And how the city is managing that amount of work. We have a contract and a deadline that needs to happen very quickly. And we have all sorts of rezoning to do in a very short amount of time. We have a lot of contracts and agreements for plans that we need to come up with the applicant. And so there's a lot that is happening on that front. And then the city council will decide on the sales tax increase for this venue in downtown. That is one of the updates. And while all of this is happening, the city is also going to be discussing the budget, the annual budget, and starting in a couple of weeks. And I want to give you the opportunity to let you know about this. This is the perfect timing to make your voices heard about the issues that we are facing, some of the issues that, or some of the things that you want funded, and see if we can actually include them into the annual budget. The mayor proposes a budget, and then the city council will get to discuss it and change it, and or not, and approve it. And it is our duty to do so. So we're going to be doing a lot of work on that. Certainly, some of my priorities is creating. And I already been talking about this, and I hope I see it in the proposed budget. If I don't see it, I believe I have the support of my colleagues so far to create a Jordan River squadron for the police department, specific officers that just dedicate themselves to the Jordan River, that they have the right tools to patrol the river. Vehicles, cars are not the right tool for the river. And this we think that it's very much needed. It's one of the things that I'm working on, but there is an array of other ones, and I hope that you guys reach out to me either here or through my text message or email, and you tell me what you want to see in the community. So I hope that really is that's the brief summary I wanted to give you. I have a lot of questions. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them.
If you've got a question, just go ahead and unmute and ask it.
Yeah, I couldn't find where they were planning on building the new stadium from the different articles I've been reading.
There is not clarity on that, and the stadium, as it was presented to us in meetings, is either at the current stadium or in a different location within that area. The reinvestment area. The likeliness that it's in a different area is small, slim, unlikely. So that gives you a little more of that puts you at the same level of knowledge that I am.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Alejandro. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, brother, I have a questions, but not this question. But what happened was I did apply a grant through to Lovely Block grant. So through to our office, we need to upgrade this office we have at the west side of Salt Lake City. The immigrant, the refugees they're using, and then we try to upgrade, and to have like LED light, to just because 24 hours, 7 days a week, so that we have a meeting. The community they're coming there to get help. But this grant which we apply for to $2,000 for Lovely Block, so we try to do like indoor. To fix the office, but somehow we've been having issues and difficult. One of the things, brother, I've been here really most of my life since 1998. I've been living most side of Salt Lake City. The system right now, they have sometimes it's kind of like it's not gonna fit us as our community, like immigrant and refugees. So we need to figure out how we can get this system is going on, because whenever we try to do something, it's so many challenges. We really because we have to have, as a refugees and immigrant, we have to have access everything, because this taxi is I'm paying my own taxi to these things, but we are not getting. That's the challenge, because when we try to do something, there's a gap, there's a block, and then we don't have like access to our own community to have to work the city councils or the county or the state. It's very challenging. So we need to have everything's in the whether the city is giving or the county or the state. We need to have access, because we have a lot of refugees, we have a lot of immigrants. they're coming to me. It's kind of like very challenge for us when we try to get this funding sometimes.
I agree 100% with you about, you know, making the city services and funding more available to all communities. And you're 100% right. I will like to know a little more about the grant that you apply, and if that didn't work out, because the mayor's office actually manages the Love Your Block grant, and they issue the grant themselves. And they're small, they're mini grants, right? And they supposed to have all I believe that what they told us before is that they walk people through the application and they sit down with people that want to apply. So let me know if that's not true, and if you know that there is more need on that, because we'd love to help from the council side if the mayor's side needs more assistance or more attention on this.
I really needed like assistance from this grantee, you know, but the problem, you know, even I told them, when something came out from the office of the mayor, these people, they should come back to the community and ask the community what they needed specifically, you know. But when they get the funding, they just do their own mind, and then they just want to create and helping some people, you know, and that's the problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It froze, I think.
Yeah, somebody called.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to just move us along in the interest of time. Councilmember.puy, would you put your contact information in the chat so folks have it?
Yeah, I'm going to put my cell phone number there. I'm receiving photos. I'm collecting photos very quickly of people being blocked by the train. So if you happen to be blocked by the train, you know, whatever time you are, take a photo, send it to me if that is something that you know, it's too much to I would love to collect those. It's a big deal to me. I'm working on something that I think it's going to benefit our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'm going to move on to the next item on the agenda. We have a little bit of council business to do tonight. So for those of you that have been attending the last couple of meetings, you'll know that we have not, until tonight, we've not been able to fill a couple of board seats. So we have, I've gone over this a lot, so I'm going to give the Cliff Notes version, but we have a 3-2-1 model at our community council. So our chair, which is currently me, I serve a 3-year term. And then we have 4 officers, a vice chair, a secretary, a treasurer, and a webmaster that serve a 2-year term. And then we have 7 at-large board members that serve a 1-year term. And the idea of our at-large board members is that they support our different committees and can create their own. So tonight we have, we've got 2 folks that have expressed interest in filling one of the empty positions that we have. So the first person is Carmen, who has volunteered to serve as our secretary. And what we'd like to do tonight is, as the chair, I'd like to nominate Carmen to be our new secretary. We've got a board member who will make the second for us. But before we do that, I'd like to have Carmen introduce herself. And then we also have Yaya, who's here tonight, who last month we had him on the agenda, but he was unable to make our meeting. And so we want to give him a chance to introduce himself tonight and then nominate him to fill one of our at-large positions. With both of them stepping up to volunteer, and we're grateful for that, we'll only have 1 empty seat on our board left to fill, and I'm hoping to find 1 more person by the May meeting to fill our final at-large board position. So if you are interested, if one of your neighbors is interested, please have them reach out. Where we've been down people, it does impact the council because we have folks that are missing, that are not at the table, and roles that we need filled. And so what I'd like to do is give Carmen and Yaya an opportunity to introduce themselves. We'll start with Carmen and then have Yaya go afterward. At that point, I'd like to make a motion and then have one of our board members, Sarah, second that motion. And at that point, we can elect them to the board. Where we've still got an empty position, if there's someone here tonight who's interested, we would love to also nominate you. If not, we'll try to fill that position in May. With that, Carmen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Carmen Groom. I've lived in Glendale since October 2020, and have been to a few of these meetings, but very excited to get more involved in the council. I'm currently a manager. I work remotely and manage a team of analysts and managers, and very accustomed to being organized and yeah, the managing task and all of that stuff. So excited to potentially be the secretary on the council.
Thank you. Yaya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, guys. My name's Yahya Ahmed. I've lived in Utah and around the Glendale area since 2021. I'm a college student at Weber State University, and I'm originally from Somalia. I'd just like to give a thanks to Abdurazak for inviting me here tonight. And I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. So I'm a college student at Weber State, and I'm studying health sciences. I also do work at the airport, and what I do is I'm a passenger service assistant. And with that, I'm just making sure that people have a smooth and pleasant experience while they're here in our airport. And then also one of my other commitments is with Starfish. I started a couple of days ago over there. And with this company, we're focused on helping people manage their finances better. And we're teaching individuals how to avoid using credit cards excessively by converting cash from their debit into gift cards whenever they do need to use it. And my journey from South Africa to Salt Lake City has been challenging, but it was very rewarding. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've been given, and I strive to make the most of it.
Thank you. We're glad you're here.
Good afternoon.
So yes.
Omar, he's oh.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Your phone's acting up again. Looks like he dropped out. With that, I'm going to make a motion that we add Carmen to our board as the secretary. So this was a position that was not filled in January. And so Carmen will be filling the position until January of 2026. That's when the first term would end. And then Yaya's term would end in January of next year. Yes, Abdurazak.
Sorry, but some people call me. So Omar also is there. So I don't know if you see his Omar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he wanna be like nominate like a board member like me, So that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, he's there. If you want to grab him, that would be nice.
Yes. Omar, do you want to introduce yourself? Looks like you're on mute. Omar, you're on mute.
Yeah, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Omari, Muhammad Omari. Omari is my last name. And I'm from Afghanistan, and I came to United States in November 2021, and December 16, I came to the Utah, Salt Lake, and still I'm here. And I have working normally, which is I have it. And before for 1 year, I had work in the airport and one Delta company. And after that, I changed my job, and right now I'm working with one private company, which is busy right now there. And Abdurazak brother invited me on the last, unfortunately, that time was Ramadan, and that was our first meeting, and we couldn't stay until end of the meeting. And just we say, I think that half of the meeting we said bye because we had already fasting. And after that, anytime if we have a meeting, Zoom meeting, physically meeting, and I will be ready for that meeting. And just if I know a little bit earlier or before that. And that's it. If I have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you. Abdurazak, thank you for letting me know that Omar was here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so with that, where we've now got 2 folks that are willing to join in at-large board positions, we would be able to be back up at a full board tonight, which I would be very excited about getting done. Before I move forward, is there anyone that is uncomfortable with us doing that, where we've got these empty positions? I have really wanted to try to fill them as quickly as possible, but I recognize that we didn't have all of these on the agenda tonight. So I just want to take a moment. Is there anyone that is opposed to us moving forward tonight? Okay. So with that, I would like to make a motion that we appoint Carmen, Yaya, and Omar to the board. So that would be the secretary's position that Carmen would be filling. Yaya would be taking our 6th at-large board position, and then Omar would take our 7th at-large board position. And that would get us to a full board for the first time since January, which would be very nice. Sarah, do you mind seconding?
I second the motion.
All right, so the way that we'll do this is if you'll just give a thumbs up on your camera if you're opposed, and you would just voice that as well. So aye.
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 All right, well, thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and say that that motion passes. Welcome to the board, Carmen, Yaya, and Omar. We're glad to have you. I'll follow up with you later tonight with next steps. So you'll get an email from me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for stepping up. All right. With that, I'm just going to move on so we can get to the rest of our agenda tonight. I saw that Representative Romero has joined. Do you want to go next, Representative?
Sure. I've been in back-to-back meetings, so I apologize for my tardiness here, but my life has been full of Zoom meetings today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Angela Romero, and I serve as your representative if you live in Glendale or if you own a business in Glendale. And I'm also the minority leader of the House Democrats. And this has been my first meeting back since the session ended. And I'm just grateful for our community and for all that you are doing here on the Community Council. And really, if you're, I don't really have much to say unless you have questions. I can definitely answer questions. But if you want to get updates on the legislative process, I do have a newsletter. You can just email me at angelaromero@le.utah.gov, and I can send that in the minutes, and we can give you up-to-date information on what's going on here. I'm up at the Capitol still. We had, our leadership had meetings today on legislative management and our legislative audits. So the audits we were looking at today were on UTA and are they running efficiently? And we also talked about tax policy and just talking about what we'll be covering over this next interim session. So when we're not in session for 45 days, we meet usually the third Tuesday and Wednesday of the month, and we talk about policy that we're looking at implementing the following session, and we also look at how we're going to continue to fund the state budget. And so that's pretty much what we're doing right now. If you have an idea for a bill or you have a particular concern at a state level, this is the time to approach me or other members of this body to propose legislation for the 2025 session.
Thank you.
That's it.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Next, I'll move on to Detective Oliver.
Hey, everybody, let's start with questions. Any questions, concerns that we're seeing in the Glendale neighborhood? If not, I'll start the numbers, and if questions happen, then we'll answer them then. So just going to run through some of the numbers for March. We are up 1 homicide, unfortunately, this month compared to last year. We are down in rapes, business robberies, other robberies, and everything else, really. So the violent crime that we did see is a homicide that did increase this month compared to last year. So total violent crimes are down 2.7% this month in the Glendale neighborhood. So this is just the Glendale area. So we had a total of 5 violent crimes compared to 7.5 for a 3-year average. Our burglaries did see a small increase this month. The burglaries of outbuildings saw a small increase, and those are our only increases for property crimes. We did see a decrease in vehicle burglaries, larceny, and vehicle thefts. So we are down right now in Glendale 26% or 26% in the numbers for March, which is pretty good decrease. We want to see those continue to decrease. For a 5-year or for a 1-year average, we are actually still down. We are averaging about 214 total crimes for the month. In Glendale, we're right now at 191. So we did see a significant drop of 10% of crimes. So that's a good thing. That's what we like to continue to see is the decrease down. Now it's going to kind of sound like a broken record. As the weather increases, we are probably going to see an increase in crime. So we want to really stay up on that. And if you're seeing something in your neighborhood, please report it to us. You know your neighborhood better than we ever will. So please just let us know what's going on. If you have a concern, reach out and let us know. Pretty simple numbers for this month. Any questions, concerns on those? That's it. We have a couple of academy classes that just graduated. So we're going to see those out in probably about 16, 17 weeks. They'll be out on the street by themselves. So that's where we're at with our numbers. So any questions, I'll be on for a while, so you can just yell at me.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay. We will not have anyone from the mayor's office tonight. The Capitol Hill Community Council and Glendale Council are held on the same night. And so Alicia, who's the mayor's liaison for our area, rotates. She was here last month and she'll be here next month for our in-person meeting. With that, I'd like to call on some of our community organizations. I see Maria from NeighborWorks is here. Yeah, you're muted, Maria.
Thank you, Turner. Just to remind everyone that Paint Your Heart Out is up and coming in the next few months, and we're hoping you'll start to identify some of those senior citizens in the neighborhood who might want a refresh on their home, or individuals with limited physical abilities. We would love to paint their homes. It's free of charge. We recruit about 300 volunteers a year to come out the second Saturday in August to paint their homes. If you know of anyone, give us a call, give us their address, but first introduce the organization to them, because they don't always trust who we are. They might not know who we are. So that's what we're looking for right now, Turner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will post a link to PIHO and NeighborWorks after the meeting.
Kunal.
Yes.
What's her name? The sister who was speaking right now.
Hi, Maria Garcia's.
Maria Garcia. So how long you been doing this organizations?
The organization is 46 years old, and Paint Your Heart Out is about 32 years old. So we've painted almost 1,000 homes.
What do you guys have a location? Do you guys have a location?
Salt Lake County, but mostly Salt Lake City, Salt Lake City.
Oh, the Salt Lake County. Okay. Good to know that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions for Maria?
Brother, one of the things, are they doing like roofing? Like, because I have a couple of family who have a house, they told me that they want to get help for like a roofing, so they don't have the money they told them to pay like $20,000, and then they cannot afford this money. I don't know if they can do that or not. I'm not sure, but they said the paint.
So we do have some grants that might be available in different parts of Salt Lake County. So if they're in Salt Lake City, I think we have some funds that will be coming in from the city. So give us a call. That information that Turner will put, I think, in the chat and follow up with us.
Is that for free money, or that they have to pay?
They are grant dollars. They are grants.
Oh, they can apply?
They can apply, they have to meet certain income guidelines, but yes.
Okay, that's all. I believe we need to sit down then, because we have a lot
All
of
right, thanks for asking. Yes, we don't have a lot of money left. I think we had $400,000, spent that money very quickly. We might have about $100,000 left, but we continue to ask the city for money and we have a wait list. So
Okay.
please check in with us.
Absolutely, I'll do that definitely, Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from Neighborhood House here tonight? Or the Sorensen Community Campus? Those are the ones I have on the agenda. Sarah, do you want to give an Arts Committee update?
Sorry. Yeah, can't see me, but I don't really have an update. I think we're gonna the Arts Committee, which is a group of the 4 of us, work on arts projects around Glendale. That could be performing arts or that could be visual arts. We're meeting later this month to talk about potential projects for future. So I don't have any updates on that right now.
Great. Thank you. Are there any other community updates? Organizations or other things that are happening if I didn't call on you?
Brother, we have organization, but normally, we have a food bank on Friday. I don't know if you have my flyer, but we do have a Wednesday on food bank, Thursday on food bank, Friday on food bank. We have an office, we have locations. We're running, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Even if somebody call us in the middle of the night, we're available. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you put a link to your organization in the chat, or do you want me to?
Yeah, you can do that, brother. I'm just saying,
Okay.
I left the class, I don't know.
Okay. And then I have one other update, or a couple of updates. So the next Saturday, the 27th of April, the UNP Heartland Spring Festival is happening over at the Heartland Community Center. So that's at 1578 West, 1700 South. It's from 11 to 1. We'll post it on our website and post it on our social media. It also went out in our newsletter today. So if you get our email newsletter, check there for a flyer. But from 11 to 1 over at the Heartland Community Center. And then the other update that I have is next. Let's see. Sorry, I'm bouncing between. Next Tuesday, the 23rd, is the West Side Coalition's annual meeting. So they'll be electing some board members from the community. There will be a resource fair and a variety of different ways to participate in the West Side Coalition. Our community council is a member of that coalition. It's made up of the 6 community councils on the West Side and is a great way to get involved in what's happening here on the West Side. So we also sent that information out in our newsletter. It'll go out on our social media and then it's on our website as well. So if you have any questions or want to get involved in the West Side Coalition, you can reach out to us or to them as well. They're available at westsideslc.org. So if you're looking for them. And then Emily, I saw that you posted something. Do you want to just talk about it so it's in the recording?
Yeah, I sure would. So this Saturday, in between the Refugee Center and the Health and Human Population Center in Rose Park, we're having a wellness community event for members to just come out and get a variety of resources that are available in the community. So the health department will be there in full force, but I know there's going to be like 53 plus organizations there to support the wellness of I think the U of U actually opening up their wellness clinic in that Rose Park area, but also to just provide resources for our members within our West Side community and just anyone, I guess, who attends that needs any resources. Feel free to share any of that information with your neighbors, family. I think the weather's supposed to be beautiful, so yeah, come on out. It's between, I believe, 4 and 7 o'clock in the evening. So it'd be great to see
Thank you.
everybody and get to know you guys a little bit better in person.
Thank you.
And then I also will be attending the West Side Coalition event next Tuesday night. I will be providing naloxone trainings and naloxone for community members as well to prevent overdose. So anyway, come say hi there too as well.
Thank you.
Hey, Turner, can I just announce something?
Yeah.
So the Youth Coalition for the Great Salt Lake are going to have a symposium this Saturday from, it looks like it starts at 12:30. Myself and Senator Escamilla will be on that, one of the panels talking about the Great Salt Lake and climate change. But there'll just be a lot of information. So if anyone knows anybody that's in high school or in college that's interested in going, or you are as an adult, that'll be going on, and I'll send you a flyer so you can send it out to everyone.
Thank you. And I'll post a link. I'm posting a link to the Youth Coalition, just to their Facebook page.
Can
Perfect.
Yeah.
I just can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This is for our state representative, Angelo Romario. So you just mentioned about the next cycle bill. If you can create something for rent, because I know I'm connected with the community, refugees and immigrants, so they're really having a hard time with rent. Nowadays, especially it's not really nowadays. It's been happening like so many years. So the rent is increasing. The people who are working with the low incomes, if we can create like a bill which is going to be like rent, so people can get benefit, that would be really nice.
I would love to do that. I would love for my colleagues to agree to do that.
Yes.
That is definitely something we can people in our caucus can propose. I can't guarantee it'll get funded, but that's something we can talk about. And we still need to do our forum with the driver's license bureau. So I haven't forgotten about that.
Yeah, one other thing.
I'll be in touch with you offline after about that.
Yeah, also I want to share with you. Also, I'm working on something for the House of Speaker of the state. So Mike Stagner, or his name, I don't know. I'm working on to have a meeting with him. So I want to, to make sure we will know what's the issues of the community, because he will be the best person, to have conversations about, the community,
Yes, I can help you, and Mackenzie can help you coordinate that. And you and I can chat tomorrow. So give me a call tomorrow and we can talk about that, and we'll get that all arranged.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, no, I gave you my word and I'm going to keep my word.
Yeah. We just want to continue helping to support the community now.
Thank you. We're at the end of our agenda. Are there any other community announcements before we wrap up for the night?
I did have one question. It might be a review. I haven't heard anything about it. Are there any plans for the Taquito Market in Glendale?
Yep. So that development has just gone back to the Planning Commission for its final review. So it's on the consent agenda, I believe, next Wednesday. So once that's done, where it's on the consent agenda, it's highly likely to be approved. They're just changing the number of units that they're building there. It's going up, I believe, from 53 to 72 units. The reason that they've done that is they're going to make them all for sale townhomes. So they'll all be for sale instead of for rent. And so they've taken out the pickleball courts as a way of kind of making that project financeable. Once that is approved, it's likely that I believe that the demolition would happen by the end of May, and you would see that project start being built sometime this summer.
Very nice. And the only other one I had is next to the Glendale Community Center, there's an empty lot where a house burned down. Is that privately owned?
Yep, so that's owned by a developer who's received zoning approval as well to build, don't quote me on the exact number of townhomes, but it's around 25. So that will also be for sale townhomes there on that property. And there will be, like I said, about 25, maybe a little bit fewer, maybe a little more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask a question to Councilwoman Romero? Could you by chance send me the coalition leadership contact for the youth coalition in the Great Salt Lake area, please?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Do you want to just send, I don't have it on me right, well, I was looking at it right now, but if you just go to their Instagram, it's Youth Coalition GSL.
Okay.
And you should be able to find them. And if you just find me on Instagram too, just send me a private message and I'll send you the contact information for the advisor and everything.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you so kindly.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Our next meeting is going to be, let me look at the date so I get it right. It's going to be May 15th, and we'll be back in person for that meeting. So we'll be back at the Glendale Library. We are planning to have Salt Lake City Parks and Public Lands present at that meeting about the plan for Glendale Regional Park. So we'll know where that's at, as well as all of the different things that are happening at the Peace Labyrinth along the Jordan River. And so we're planning to spend most of our meeting next time talking about our parks and the the GEO bond that was passed last year. We may also have a presentation on the city budget if it's out and ready for that. But again, we'll be back in person. Next month's meeting, we'll have food to provide and we'll be back in person. So we look forward to seeing you there at the library.
Hello, Tuna.
Yep.
The food also has to be some halal food, because the food we're getting, we don't want to leave somebody behind, always we have to consider people coming there. So there's a Muslim, there is a non-Muslims. So the food has to be halal, brother.
Yep, we will make sure we do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and we will also have translators available. So if you need translation or someone needs translation, if you can just let us know in advance, we would love to be able to just provide anything the night of, but being able to know in advance will allow us to have those translators there. So please reach out if you need translation services. We will for sure have Spanish translation, but if there's another language we need, please let us know in advance so we can arrange a translator. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and end our meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you. It was a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.